Good morning, everyone. I think we're about ready to start. I'd like to just thank you all for joining our session this morning. My name is Pauline McGrellis, and I'll be taking you through our webinar. So this morning we're joined by quite a lot of people. I've still got a few people logging on at the minute, but I can see that they're all in that process. So welcome along. I hope you're sitting comfortably. What I aim to do over the next 30 to 40 minutes is to actually talk to you a little bit and show you how we are helping the Nvolve group, how we're helping organizations to automate a lot of their training and the updating and that of their training matrix, and move more to a paperless environment in having our documentation sign off on the tablets and as I mentioned in a paperless format itself. So welcome along. Just want to share with you the format for the session this morning. I'm just going to give you a wee bit of a background on the Nvolve group, who we are. We're going to look at the traditional methods that are actually used today by most organizations within the manufacturing and food supply chain itself in terms of how they're managing compliance with reference to their certifications and things like that. So we'll look at the common issues around using these methods and how the Nvolve group ourselves are helping to resolve the issues and really push down your compliance and mitigate your compliance risk itself, but also with the likes of helping you to improve your grades when it comes to the likes of your audits, whether they be BRC or customer grades, etc. Yeah. So we're going to take a wee look at the platform that's used for managing and the platform that we supply to help manage the compliance training, and that's a product called Group Learner. So we'll have that wee demonstration, and then we'll have a Q&A session towards the end of the webinar itself. So just a little bit of housekeeping here in terms of your questions on that. You have your little GoToWebinar portal or the control panel that you can actually pop your questions in the little questions area there. I'll pick them up at the end of the session, and I've also included and attached a copy of the slides that I'm using today if anyone would like to download them as well. Yeah. So just a little bit of a background on the Nvolve group. For about 12 years now, we've predominantly been helping organizations in the manufacturing and like packaging and storage and distribution areas in terms of helping them manage their compliance levels. Now that has predominantly been focused in the food industry itself, where I suppose we initially started the company and based the company on our group learning technology. That's our group learner product and our Respond Point technology, where we've been helping to deliver training, helping organizations and their training staff to deliver training out into large volumes of production staff at the same time. We know it's very difficult to pull your production staff, your warehousing staff, etc., all off at one time, or to send them out can be quite expensive. If you're sending them out for external training, or indeed if you're bringing let's say certified trainers onto your site, again it can be a very expensive way of actually doing that. So but most of these particular methods do actually require an element of paper-based assessments, which you sit down and mark at the end of it. So our solution really has been helping people to not only train your employees, your workforce, but also to remove the cost and the workload and the risk associated with managing compliance and delivering training itself, really. So we use the latest technologies that really do allow us to show a high value return on the investment that you put into our technology itself. So, our solutions really do range, from our training solution right into our auditing. We've got a paperless auditing platform, document control, managing your suppliers if you work within the food industry itself, managing your workforce and the likes of your performance reviews and spot checks and things like that, and also from a governance perspective, enabling you to paperlessly manage the policies that that you may push out and need to get signed off by your desk-bound staff as well, and you know, not just looking at the production side, but for all your staff, you know, we have the governance tool there as well. Our technology solutions are hosted solutions, which means that they sit up on the Amazon server, and you know, a little bit like your Facebook account, you're given a login and a password, which you get access to our technology. But you know, it's a dedicated hosted account, and all of our clients actually do sit on the cloud itself. This is just a, you know, a bit of an array of our clients. You know, you'll see where we actually work with a few different industries in terms of like looking at Moy Park there. We're currently in the process of implementing the 4th site of their 6-site deployment itself, you know, out into other areas like Bemis up here in the northwest of Ireland, who are respiratory medical devices, you know, down into the storage and distribution, long lane deliveries there. And we also work with a lot of recruitment companies as well, who actually take responsibility for onboarding on behalf of manufacturing organizations. So we would help them with their technology in terms of delivering induction courses and that as well with our technology solutions. So just to look at, I suppose, some of the more traditional methods that are currently in operation today of and people are using to manage the whole compliance. Now, what we find when we're talking to our clients is that there, you know, you may have different people within the organization that are responsible for managing different elements of your training. Now, whether it be induction, for example, you may have your HR department that are responsible for, you know, bringing on board and you know, providing the induction or delivery of the employee handbook, etc., etc. And then, like, I mean, within the production side of things, in terms of your food production, you can have the likes of the technical managers, quality managers, who you know, and training managers who really push out training in different ways. The majority of training in a production and manufacturing environment, in our experience, is really done by the use of paper-based policies, SOPs, work instructions, of which the employee reads, and then you have the paper-based sign-off and you know, the signature to sign it off and the acceptance of the document, and then that's all stored away in filing cabinets of information. But more importantly, the people managing or trying to manage the actual training and the compliance and who's done what will then go back to a training matrix, which they will update, and that training matrix in a lot of instances can be as long as well, as wide as a roll of wallpaper in some instances. So yeah, it's a tough job. Like you know, we've got organizations, we had one guy that was managing over 200 staff, sorry, 200 procedures for 500 staff. So, you know, when you think about the whole management and the sales, I mean, that's 100,000 sales on a spreadsheet to actually manage. Now, that you know, would tend to give me a headache in terms of managing Excel in that way. The whole issue, though, you know, the issues that come with that style of management, I suppose, in the paper-based and spreadsheet format, is that paper and spreadsheet don't really talk to each other well at all. So, you know, it's very, very difficult for us to actually get a clear picture as to what's going on in terms of our compliance, what training needs to be done, who's done what refresher training, maybe training that has expired. If we forget to update that matrix, then, you know, it's completely out of date, or maybe we're updating information, and again, the time to actually update all this information on the matrix itself can be quite extensive. You're relying on other people to pass you information to be able to update the matrix, and a lot of the time, you know, the information can get lost and the records become out of date, etc. You know, and that's only really visible when an auditor arrives on site and tries to get the information from you to find that, you know, okay, records have not been updated, we haven't supplied this element of training, we can't find the paperwork, the document sign off when the auditor is on site, and so, you know, it becomes a bit of a management nightmare in terms of, you know, trying to get our information together whenever auditors are on site. the whole, I suppose, proposition with our solutions is really about helping you as an organization to build a robust culture of compliance and safety within your organization, where everybody takes responsibility for it. So it's not just lying on the shoulders or the responsibility of your HR managers, or your training managers, or your compliance, not compliance, but quality managers, etc. And this is really where we can push it down into, a more ground base or on the floor level itself, where maybe our shift managers or supervisors or team leads, can pick up an element of that responsibility, so that we're all pulling in the right direction in terms of building that robust culture of safety and compliance within the organisation. So that pretty much is what our proposition is all about. You reducing the risk, building the culture, that robust culture, and also reducing the workload and the costs that are associated with it. And again, that workload, as our customers, especially in the food industry, are pushing us more and more to go unannounced in terms of our audits, then we need to be really on our game in terms of being able to proactively manage compliance rather than reacting to the event of a non-conformance when the auditor actually arrives on site itself. So our solution really to help you, and the solution that is helping a lot of organizations out there in terms of managing the compliance and delivering training back out to our production staff or our workforce, is our group learner solution and our response point technology. Our group learner solution is a platform that it's essentially a training management platform that allows you to build records of your employees and actually set up their employee training plan, etc. And then our response point technology is essentially our keypad solution that allows you to actually deliver training in a group environment, a classroom environment. Now, whether that's multiple training, you could have 5 or 6, you could have up to 100 people in your training environment. Then we use the keypad system to deliver that training, and the trainees provide the answers through the keypads. A little bit like the Who Wants to Be a Millionaire TV quiz show that you see have on TV these days. Yeah, the trainee provides the answer. The answers are all automated through a little receiver, and it's all uploaded onto your platform itself. So that is the automated process of your group learner training and your group training. Essentially your response point technology and the keypad system, it actually can integrate with any of your courses that you have already created in PowerPoint. So typically what we find is that training can be done via a mix of documents and document sign off, and also in the classroom base where you have a PowerPoint presentation coupled with a paper-based assessment at the end of the training course itself. But you have to sit down and mark that training course and go through and see if the trainees have actually passed the training course before they may be let loose on the job itself. So this really is a way of being able to automate that process, whereby essentially the keypad system will pick up all the answers and it will update that information and complete the record, the training record, on the actual platform itself. But I'll show you a wee bit of that in the platform demonstration. We also have a set of courses that we have developed. These courses are ready-to-go courses, health and safety and food safety courses that have all been certified by the CIEH. So we have a vast array of courses there that we can bundle into an unlimited package for your employees, or you can purchase them on a pay-as-you-go basis as well. But the unlimited package is essentially a very cost-effective way to train your staff in terms of all the courses that you have there. You can actually get all them courses courses and train your staff as many times on them courses as you want for £25 per employee. Now there's over £300 worth of training courses there for you to use as you need to for each employee. So very cost-effective way of delivering the training. So also, as well as that, you know, the group learner courses that we have, when they are able to be delivered through your keypad system, also via tablet delivery as well, and I'm going to show you a wee bit about how that looks later on. And you can also log on via e-learning through you know, a normal computer into their employee training record and complete their training courses you know, as and when they want to themselves. So that's what we're going to look at this morning. We're going to really focus on the group learner platform and the training management platform. We're going to have a wee bit of a look at our document control and how you can ensure in the production environment where you are using the likes of policies, SOPs and work instructions, etc., that how you are able to make sure that people are actually getting trained on the latest version of the documentation. One of the critical things that people talk to me about is that you know, when it comes to the auditor being on site and looking for the training records, it's instantly showing up that that the employee or the staff member had been trained on like 2 or 3 versions before, but they want to ensure that that doesn't happen. So I'm going to show you how we can do that, and we'll take a look at the tablet apps and have a look at some of the reporting in that as well. Okay, so beg your pardon, I'm just going to pop onto the platform now and log on. The first thing that we will see is that we have our training dashboard. So essentially what we do is we build up directories within the platform. Our directories really are all about our employees. If we're you know, setting up and using our managers to get good management reporting, then of course you know, we set up our managers as well who take responsibility for the staff training. So employees, I can see here that I've got a list of all my employees within the factory itself or within the production or warehousing environment. I've got 107 employees here. But one of the key things that we've thought about is how you actually get this information in. You will have it currently in spreadsheet format in your training matrix. So we work with you to get that information in, but we have an import facility as well, that what we can do is we can link out to a document. I'm just going to have a look at that employee import there. That's on a spreadsheet there that gives me a list of all my employee names there. So I've imported that. What I can do is preview the actual information there, and there is how easy and quickly that I can get the employees from that spreadsheet into the actual platform itself. So that's how we build our directories up there. I'm not going to save that, but so we build up our directories of our employees. Once we do that, we can go into our training management side of the platform itself. We have a dashboard here that gives us a lot of information and reporting information, but I'm going to come back to that in a second. So what we essentially do, I'm going to pop into the document side. We're going to have a wee look at the document control within here. So essentially what I do is I build up my documents, I define my documents, I build them up into groups, and also our training courses, you know, different training courses, whether they be external training courses where you send them out for external training, that might be hands-on machinery training, etc. There also is your group learner courses where, you know, that's our courses that we have already developed for you, and also then your own internal training courses that you might run through the actual PowerPoint process. So this is the document side of our training. So I build up my documents, I put them into document groups, whether it be policies, SOPs, work instructions, etc., etc. And then what I have is the title of the document, the revision of the document, and whether the document has been approved or not. Now, what actually happens when we build up this set of documentation, the documents will then become available in the training plans of the employees or from the tablet. So we get access to the documents from the tablet. That's your electronic sign-off, you know, on the documents itself. And this is where it all automates. Once I would actually sign that document off, I would read the document on the tablet, and that can be either iPad or Android. But once I would sign that off and complete the actual training procedure, then that would then automatically go back onto my platform and update the platform, without you needing to go back and update your spreadsheet itself. So this is, as I say, the SOPs and that, and the documents that I have actually set up here. I am going to have a wee look at one of the documents that I have here. It's the operation of the BCH kettle there. And if I launch the document detail, I've got a little bit more further information behind the document itself, and this is really where we control and we manage the actual documentation. So I'm on revision 2 here. The document that was created back in February of this year. I've got an average training period here, because when the auditors come, they want to be able to see how long that it's taken them to train, or how much training time that you have invested in your employees. I also have a grace period here. Now that is whereby if I start your organization today, then it's unfair if to expect me to have maybe 200 procedures all signed off by tomorrow. So what we do is we set a grace period where it's a reasonable amount of time that I'm giving my staff and their managers or their supervisors to have that procedure of training signed off. And once that grace period has ceased, then it will pop into a non-compliant state. So it's just that reasonable amount of time, that and a fair amount of time. But with each document, you may have a different grace period, because as we know, there's some training that's more urgent than others, so you would want to train them quicker into the role than what you would maybe do other training itself. So that's all definable by yourselves. We have the document owner there. I've attached William Burke as the document owner. The validity period, so the training, how long is it valid for before your refresher training is due on that, and again definable by yourselves. You can select that. Your review period, when do I need to review this document? Again, definable by yourselves. And the document status. If we have an approval process that someone needs to approve the SOP, the document, before it goes live, then we can actually build up an approval process within that. So we have the approval management side of it within the document. Within the details of the document, I also have the ability to link the document, so then it becomes available on the tablet for the access to the document and for external sign-off. So this is the actual document that this piece of training relates to. We have the ability to sign assessment questions or add questions, is really to test the competency. That will be coming available. It's quite a new feature that we've built into the platform itself, but that will be coming. It's on the platform at the moment, where someone would sit down and do the assessment, via a computer, but that will be coming via the actual tablet device as well in due course. So that's really where you will be testing the competency of the employee based on the document that they have just read. So it's no longer just good enough to say that you've actually, you've read the document and you've signed it. What you want to do is to test the knowledge and make sure that they have actually retained that knowledge and the messages that have been put across in the training itself. I talked about the approval management, so yes, we assign the approvers accordingly there. And also what we have now, down the bottom here, we've got the ability to sign the document to employees. We can also assign the document to the work group. So a work group really is, I suppose, like a team of people who do a particular function. So what you can then do is actually set up training packs. So let's say as maybe a packing operative, I'm in the packing work group, but as part of that, I may not need training for cleaning or, for different, areas of procedure itself. So what I can do is I can set like the training packs that is applicable to the work groups, and then I assign the employee to the work group, so that when I assign a document to a work group, what it does, this is really easy management and, you know, less time consuming than going in and assigning each employee to each of the documents. So what we do is we set up the work group, we set up the training packs, which the document falls into the training pack, and then we actually assign the employee to the work group, so that when I assign the employee to the work group and the work group has got all the different elements of training, it is automatically distributed to all the employee records or the training records within that work group, rather than me having to go and add them individually. I hope that makes sense. But it saves us a lot of time in managing and administering the system itself. So this is really where we can assign the actual document to a work group. So you may have various different work groups that you know, would all have similar training in the work groups themselves. So that could be the likes of your manual handling, your slips, trips and falls, your fire safety, etc., etc. So that's really where we control all that and how we distribute the training procedures to the work groups and the employees. This is the revisions. We can look at the previous revisions of the document. So this is you know, as I say, we're on version 2. This is version 1 itself. Now, for us to manage and control the versions of the document that the staff are actually getting trained on, what we can do, if there's a new revision of this document, we up-revise it on the actual platform itself. This is asking me, do I want to up-revise the document, and telling me that the existing revision will be archived. I'm saying yes to that. So what we do is we go through and we can see that we're on revision 1. I may put revision 3 in there. We can make sure that it's got the right title, etc. And then what we do is we just go and we browse and we select the actual new version of the document, and we attach that, add that, and save it to the platform. So then what happens is that for everyone who has got, let's say I've got 100 staff who are need this this procedure of training, and 50 of them staff have already completed version 2, but 50 haven't. So what actually happens when I up-revise the document and I send it live as a live document on my platform, what it means that all 100 staff are now non-compliant for that level of training. They haven't completed that level of training because they haven't actually completed level 3 or version 3, I beg your pardon. So that's how we can ensure that your employees are actually getting trained on the latest version of the document itself, because once it's live on the platform, you can't get access to version 2 from the tablet device. So, you know, that's locked down, that's archived, and now the new document, the new version, is version 3, so they're always getting trained on the latest revision of the document itself. So that's our document control. I want to pop in now very quickly to have a wee look at our employee training records. So as I mentioned, we set up our employee, and what we do is we actually assign the elements of training and procedures and documents, etc., that we are compelled to give them to make us compliant in terms of our whole compliance training itself. So what that does then, it actually builds a training plan for the employee. So the training record itself, I've got a little bit of detail here about the employee. You know, it could be their payroll number, etc., their gender, all that. I've got a photograph here. In larger environments, you know, people talk to us about, you know, how it can maybe take them a half an hour to actually find the member of staff that they need to train, because they're working, you know, with thousands of people or hundreds of people. So the ability to attach the photograph there and have that, you know, available on the tablet as well is a really plus point for a lot of organizations. If we want to give them e-learning access, then you know, the ability to do some of our courses online, then we can do, and that's really our courses, our predefined and ready to go courses, health and safety and food safety courses. So you know, we can actually give them out the password, and as a way of managing that too, if they forget the password, we can click there to actually resend their details to the employee as well. Just going to pop into the training plan. This is really where it gives me all the different types of training, whether we have set it up as an external training course. So that's where, again, as I talked about, going off-site for training. Our Respond Point technology, so this is your internal courses, maybe like your induction course, you know, maybe other training courses that you have actually developed in you know, a PowerPoint presentation that you deliver in a group environment, a classroom environment, as the staff join, etc. And then we have our group learner courses that that we can supply you as well. I'm just going to have a wee quick look at one of the group learner courses. We can see that these are the courses, as you see, the red has been completed, the green has been completed, red not completed, and there's one, the operating a forklift truck there is sitting in my grace period for our William's grace period there, you know, because he needs to pick up on that training itself. So I'm just going to quickly look at, as I mentioned, one of our one of our own courses, because I just want to show you the output format that that you get. And this is all, as I say, uploaded onto the platform. So the it's an automated process that actually will then show you, you know, the output from the course. This is a record of the Level 2 Food Safety training course that we have supplied and William has completed. It was completed on the date there back in February. The pass rate for this course was 75% and William scored 90%. These are the courses that are certified by the CIEH, so they meet that standard as set by the industry itself. We can see the questions that have been asked as part of the assessment in this particular course, what the correct answer of the question was, and the answer that William did supply there. So I can scroll down and I can see where he did supply the right answer or not, as the case may be. So yeah, and we're able to actually have the certificate of the course available as well, and launch the certificate there, you know, from the platform as well. Yeah. So that is our training record, the ones that he has completed, the ones that he hasn't. We look at the SOP, the alarm operation there. This is another course that has actually been completed. If I view that information and click on the view button to show the details, we can see there at the front screen that it was completed there back on the 5th of April. And the date that that was due to expire is in April 2019. So if I view the actual detail behind this, this is the information that is automatically coming from the tablet at the point of sign off. So we can see, yes, the document there was the alarm operation. Was completed on the date. What the actual training time was there, I could set that to maybe 15. That just wasn't entered at the time of completing. But what we have there is the ability to set that. And here is the tablet sign-offs. This is the information that you would need for your auditors, where you have your employee signature and your manager signature there as well. And we can also look and you know, go into to see further information of the details that were attached, you know, are relevant to that particular document. So so yeah, that's essentially where we can see and the output from the delivery on the tablet. So the tablet really is replacing your paper. So instead of going to the employee with a paper copy of the document, you take the tablet to them and you launch the actual document. They read it, they sign it off, and you sign it off when you're happy enough that the employee has actually read and understood that particular document itself. So that is our employee training plans. I just want to pop in to the training reports and actually have a look at some of the reports that we have in here, but one of them in particular. Now, one of the things that you know, I talked about a wee bit earlier on in the start of the webinar itself was that, excuse me, it's very, very hard to get visibility of what's actually happening, what training needs to be done, etc., etc. So now we have the ability to produce reports, because you know, with spreadsheets and with paper, again, as I mentioned, you know, they don't talk to each other, so it is practically impossible to get good management reports from a system to really understand how compliant that you are, one of the key things is really about being proactive rather than reactive to the auditor being on site. So this is where we're able to get full visibility to the exposures, you know, and your potential risks, you know, in terms of an auditor arriving on site and looking for information, you know, doing a random, you know, okay, give me the training history for this person, and you finding out that actually you haven't trained them and you've got no documentation. So it's really all about being proactive and building that robust culture of compliance within the organization. So this is really a management report now. It's quite detailed here in terms of I am a manager in the warehouse or on the manufacturing floor itself, the production side. I'm going to have a wee look at Barry Harper there. If I look at Barry, I show the report itself. What this gives me is, as a manager, it gives me some great information because it tells me what individuals that I am responsible for going down the side here. But going across the top, it's all the actual training that the procedures that we have within the organization. We can see who has completed, which individuals has completed what they haven't done. Where it's grayed out, it's not actually applicable to their training record. But if I go right across, so this is all elements of training, whether it be external training that you need to send them out on, your document training, your in-house training that you might provide through your PowerPoints, or indeed our courses that you may invest in, then you know, this is it in your training matrix, which you don't need to go and update. The only element that you'll have to update, excuse me, is where they go out for external training. Naturally, they won't have the access to your system here, so you'll just have to go in and update that. Excuse me a second, guys. Beg your pardon. Okay, so right across the side here, we can actually see in relation to the training that is that I'm compelled to give to my different employees, we can see how compliant that they are against that training record, their individual training record. So if an employee, or sorry, if an auditor actually comes and asks me to for a training record for Barry Jones when they're doing the auditor, or when they're doing their audit, I'm going to be in a bit of trouble here because Barry hasn't completed any training in relation to his training plan itself. So as with the procedures going across the top, the actual training that is required, if we scroll to the bottom here, we can see how compliant each procedure is. So we can see we're doing okay there in the stress management for employees, but when it comes to working in confined spaces, we're sitting at 0%. So, you know, again, if an auditor is looking for, you know, the information, how long you've spent training people in that particular training procedure, then you're going to be in a bit of trouble. So that's really, you know, some of the, just a flavour for the management reporting. I'm going to pop back to my dashboard now, because really, as we build up our information, our employees, our training records, what, you know, what needs to be done, and as it's actually being done and being automatically updated on our platform, this is really our dashboard, which gives us a very high level, or a bird's eye view of where my risks are. So in terms of my meter, my compliance rate against all of my employees or all of my work staff, their training records, then this is how well I am performing against them training records itself. I'm sitting at 10% here now. That's pretty low, but nothing changes very quickly on my database here because it's just a demo database. But here we can see the top non-compliance courses or documents. This is any type of training that you have here. So we've got our training types. So we can see the document there, the cleaning the workstation. There's 67 instances of that training actually due. If I click on my view button there, it'll drill down to a little bit more detail to actually tell me, okay, who has completed and the numbers that have completed into a percentage pie chart there. And if we scroll down, we're able to actually see the employee details as to who has done what, who hasn't done anything at all. So there's one person there completed, and that's actually myself. So pat on the back to me. But it really allows us to, I suppose, do a lot of planning, you know, and proper planning, you know, in terms of being able to say, okay, what is presenting me with the biggest risk here? In this instance, it's I've got, you know, 67 people who need training on cleaning cleaning the workstation. My auditor's actually due next week, so what I might do is, you know, across a couple of sessions with my keypads and the keypad technology, is maybe decide to do it in an in-house course, present the document on a spreadsheet, not a spreadsheet, a PowerPoint. And then have a few questions that is asked after the training course, and then you've got the answers to that. So, you know, again, a good way of actually delivering you know, large volumes of training very quickly in preparation for an audit itself. The great thing about and I meant to tell you about our Respond Point technology in terms of you know, delivering the PowerPoint presentations as part of your training process, is that when you actually come to your question slides, you're able to input them question slides in the assessment, and when the trainees provide their answers through the keypad system, you're able to see who all has actually answered. So if someone's struggling, there's a little like a grid that gives you the number of keypads that are being used. So if everyone bar one has actually answered you know, the question, you can go maybe you know, to the side of the trainee and maybe have a quiet word and see if they're struggling, you know, for a particular reason. But also, as well as that, what it does is it gives us a graph to tell us what the right answers, sorry, the volume of people who have supplied the right answer and the volume who have supplied the wrong answer. So if in a training course, if I'm delivering a training course and 98% of my trainees actually get the answer wrong, then I'm probably have not delivered that in a correct way. For the message to go across. So what I may want to do is recover the, you know, just go over the content and make sure that, you know, it is actually understood. So again, it's about not just making sure that we've done the training, but that the trainees and that the staff actually properly understand it and have the full knowledge that we need them to do to reduce and mitigate that risk, you know, of workplace accidents and that actually happening. Okay, so that pretty much takes us, you know, to the non-compliance courses. Over here at the side, we can actually see the manager non-compliance. So again, your team leads, your supervisors who take responsibility for staff training. We're able to see who, you know, who needs, you know, a little bit of maybe a nudge to get their staff trained. And the great thing about this is that, you know, people talk to me about how, you know, okay, we don't know what needs to be done, or nothing gets done very fast, and that a lot of the case is really down to the fact that we haven't really given our people the tools to help them manage what they need to do. So, you know, a platform like this, if I log on as Sean Smith, I can see, oh God, I've got 583 training procedures that need to be completed. Then I go onto the tablet, I'm able to get access to that information and the training courses. So it allows us to then, with the tablet, is perform on-the-spot training. So if a piece of machinery has broken down and we've got engineers or techies, technicians that are actually fixing it, then we can actually increase that compliance training levels by giving the staff member the tablet to complete, you know, a few different documents or training courses itself. So you're always maximizing any downtime as well that the employees might actually have. Here we can see for all courses that or all training that's coming up for expiry there, we can see that the employee handbook, well, there's 9 episodes of that expired. We can see what's coming up for 30, 60 and 90 days as well. So again, it helps us to plan you know, and to schedule training courses that are relevant to you know, the risk that is posed in front of us as well. So guys, that pretty much takes us, you know, in a snapshot look and view at the actual management platform. What I'm going to do now is to pop back to the PowerPoint, because I just want to show you a little bit about the tablet apps. Naturally, I can't show you the tablet app online, so I've just got a few screenshots here that I use. So this is really you know, logging on via the tablet app, whether it be iPad or whether it be Android. So I can get access as a manager. So you would only give this to your managers or your supervisors of that to access the training records for the individuals. So there we can see we can get access to the training plans, the manager report, any of the training courses, or your work group reports as well. So this is a list of all my employees that I have got. I can see at what rate that they are running in terms of their compliance. I can see how many procedures that they have assigned to them and what they have completed and what has still to be completed. And I can see their employee ID there as well. This is another employee, their training record. I can see the courses and the training that they have actually assigned to them. What we can see what is in process, etc., and you know, what's been completed there as well. And what I can do then is I can go into one of the training procedures and actually view the training procedure. In this case, it's a policy. It's the employee handbook policy, the revision 1 of this, and we go in and we view the actual document in the supporting documents area. There's the two documents that relate to this element of training, and what we then do, we can see that we've got a manager signature and an employee signature there. So what happens is that the employee you would launch the document so that the employee could actually read it. And then what we have is the ability for the manager to sign the document off. We have marked it as complete up here in the little tick box up there, marked as complete. The manager signs it off and the employee signs it off as well. So that's your paperless document signing off on that. So you know, that's really easy and simple to actually use, and again a way to actually perform on the spot training itself. This is just one of our training courses, the food allergen courses that is available from the catalogue, which I showed you earlier. So this is an interactive course. Now we have courses on there, you know, from introduction to level 2. We also do supply some level 3 courses as well for food safety and health and safety. So, you know, if that's a requirement for you as well, then please talk to us about that. But, you know, the courses there, it really is, you know, quite an interactive, you know, it's visual, you've got audio, voiceover on it as well. Plus, we also supply some assessments. So if you need to assess levels like food safety, you know, what the risk, it's like a risk assessment in food safety or health and safety, you can actually get your employees to do that. And we also have an ESOL assessment, which is an assessment that allows you to test, I suppose, to determine the language levels for speakers of like who have English as a second language. So this enables you to do one of two things. If there is a high level English and understanding of English and spoken and reading that is required for a role, like maybe reading labels and stuff like that, then you're able to see if you know, the individuals actually, you know, pre-employment have that level of understanding. Or indeed, if it is the case that, you know, it's not required for the role, but you know, you need to train them in some way, is to be able to see, do you need to have a translator, you know, to be able to get the messages across in their own language when you do actually perform the training itself. The management reports, guys, one of the services that we actually offer is to send you out a, you know, to work with you as well, to provide some reporting to you. This is one of the risk reports that we would send you on a monthly basis. So you get this every month, and what it essentially allows you to see is, you know, your training completed, the compliance chart there, you know, what is compliance training, and you know, the levels that you're running at, and go right down into your managers who is actually, you know, you need to start working with to, you know, get them to sign off that training, and not just sign it off, but to deliver the training, etc. So that kind of rounds it off. I suppose I've come to the nearing the end of it. Just time for, I've run a wee bit over there, guys, so I've got a few questions here. Sean, you're asking how much the platform is. For the Group Learner platform itself, that is for a 3-user license, That is 3995 in sterling, or 4995 in euro. We've got a few people throughout Europe and Ireland here on the session this morning. So that's the pricing. Now, that pricing, it's an annual fee. It's a hosted platform that essentially you're given your login and your password to it. So that enables 3 management users, to use the software, whether it be from your tablet or whether it be from your computer itself. That also incorporates all your setting up, all your support, all your training, and that throughout the year as well. So it's a very cost-effective system in terms of what might be available in the market today. Stephen, you're asking about setup. How long does it take to get a system like this set up? We really, to be honest with you, it really is, how long, and how quick you've got, that bit of free time to actually work with us to get it set up, because you supply us the information. We've got import files, as I mentioned earlier on. So your training matrix that you would have currently, that you're maybe using, or your employees from your HR payroll system, if you can get that exported out into Excel, then we can work with you to get that information actually set up very, very quickly. For your training matrix and your existing training matrix that we have, again, we work with you to get the employees in there, to actually get all completed training that you have already done. So you might have your manual handling that you have pushed out to 100 employees on a particular date. So we can work with you to get that information into the platform, in a group upload itself. So it can be very, very quickly to to actually get it implemented. We've had people after days of actually implementing or importing the information, actively using it within days of getting the information and getting it imported, really. So I would recommend that you think about maybe your sort of quieter periods to work and get that implemented. But we take a lot of the legwork out of it for you. Sarah, you're looking for, you say, can I have a look at your CIH courses? Yes, Sarah, what I can do is I'll take this offline with you, and we can, if any of you need to have a look at our training courses, or want to have a look at our training courses to evaluate them, I can set you up with a demo account for the courses themselves. So please feel free to shout on that. So guys, I'm pretty aware that I've taken quite a bit of your time now, and I'll probably sign off at this stage. But for anybody that does have any further questions or requirements, at the end of the session, we have just a little pop-up that we just appreciate your feedback. If you want any further information, then you can select what your next steps will be there. But all that's sort of left for me to say is thanks very much for listening, for joining us today. I hope you found the session useful. If we can be of any help at all in helping you to manage your training, or to deliver your training and manage your compliance, please do feel free to get in touch. We've got a lot of customers who we've supported throughout the years, and couldn't be without our technology. So do, as I say, feel free to get in touch, and hopefully we'll see you on some of the other sessions. But yeah, thanks again, and have a nice day. All right, guys, cheers now. Bye bye.